What's up, YouTube? Thank you for being here. Guys, I'm going to ask you to bear with me today. I've had a sore throat for the last 3 days. That's why I haven't made any videos. Today's the first day where I kind of sort of have a little bit of a throat to speak with or talk with. So bear with me if I have to take a little bit of pauses and kind of clear my throat. But I'll do my best to get through it. Guys, I want to talk about the game because I've been watching the game over and over again, working on the tactical breakdown. I actually got a lot of it done, but I can't, like I said, my throat was hurting, so I couldn't actually record. But all the plays are done. I can't wait to make that video. Hopefully I'll get it done by tomorrow night, so it'll be posted by Friday, which is kind of late. I don't like that. It's definitely going to hurt my channel for being that late, but I know that most of you guys who've been with me for a long time, not the new ones, the guys who've been with me for a long time are going to appreciate it anyways because you guys want to see that video. Whereas I'm probably not going to get any new subs from it. So I'm going to need your help to hit like on that one when it comes out. Guys, thank you so much for being here for those of you who are. I know it's short notice. No, I didn't even tell anybody that I would go live today. And like I said, I just felt bad about not making videos for a while because of my throat. So I wanted to go live today and just kind of give back to some of you guys who are always here with me. And the kind of things I want to talk about is, like I said, I've already made the tactical breakdown video. Sorry, guys. I've already made the tactical breakdown video. I've already made up my mind as to like what happened in that game and the things that I saw in that game. And I promise you that when the video does come out, hopefully Friday morning, that I'm going to talk about things in that video that A, I've never talked about before in other tactical breakdown videos, and B, that you haven't heard on any other channel. And that's important to me because look, other channels have done a pretty good job of breaking down how we were winning second balls and things of that nature. So I'm not even going to talk about the second balls in that video. Today I might. Today I'll tell you what we did and how we won second balls. But in the tactical breakdown video, I'm going to keep it to things that we haven't talked about. And I want everyone to kind of see things in the way I see it, right? And there was just so much good that I couldn't even talk about in past videos because it wasn't good. So that's another reason why I'm talking about new things. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, Philip and Danny. But one of the things I wanted to bring up in this video is if you guys don't know this other channel, I want to promote this other channel, and the channel name is Footy with an Edge. I had no idea about this guy. This guy, I'm new to this channel, okay? Like, I've never heard of him before. But Footy with an Edge basically made this video about the Athletic and how agendas are out there about things that they're saying that just not true about Manchester United's playing style and system and everything else, especially how they break down our stats. I want everybody to kind of, I'm going to show that video a little bit later, a little piece of that video a little bit later. I forgot to add it to my live stream switch here, but I'll do it a little bit later. And we'll talk a little bit about how these agendas kind of ruin the fan base. Because the truth is, like, it's kind of like religious leaders, politicians, and anybody who's got some sort of, like, notoriety and a following. If anybody, I do check out Matty FC. Matty FC is great at that, too. But this dude did better. Let me put it, I like Matty FC, though. See, now it sounds like I'm, like, saying something bad about Matty FC. No, I really like Matty FC. I'm just super impressed by Footy with the Edge's video. The guy dove in deep. I mean, the whole video, he just kept debunking stat after stat, data after data. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, like, Matty FC is fantastic. I'm not saying anything negative about Matty FC. I just want to highlight this individual and the work he put in, the hours he put in to dive in deep and do this thing. And yes, Art, we won, dude. We won, and I can't wait to put out my tactics video for that game and talk about all the reasons why we won and how we have to keep it going, because there are things that happen in that game at Anfield. Yeah, right. That things that happen at that game that we haven't seen since Ruben Amorim's takeover, like since Ruben Amorim got in. And actually, another thing I'll bring up that I think I'm going to bring up in the tactical video, when it comes to the second balls, because everybody's talking about the second ball, we won a lot of second balls. Ruben Amorim got his tactics right. Guys, I want to take you back to last season when Ruben Amorim first took over. Within a month of him taking over, he did interviews and press conferences where he said, we lack physicality. And he also said we don't win enough second balls. This isn't something new that he's been working on. This is something he's been trying to fix since he got in, and you are starting to see the fruits of that labor now. Do you get what I'm saying? This is another proof or something that you can hang on to as in like this manager saw something that we were very bad at and is making us better at, to the point where we were horrible at second balls last season. And now I think we're on top of that stat. And if we're not on top, we're in the top 3 of that stat in the Premier League for how many second balls we win. And that is a huge improvement, because we were in the bottom 3 last year. I really do think we're on top of that stat. I did all this research like 2 days ago. And like I said, I was sick 2 days ago with the sore throat and everything else. So my brain was kind of cloudy. But I know we were either on top or we were in the top 3. Footy with an edge is great. I love how you renamed VVD as Twerkez. No, Twerkez is Kirkez. He names VVD as, I think he calls VVD Cardi B. Or Twerky B, something like that. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. He's pretty funny. Again, it was like the first time I ever saw him was last week. His brother reached out to me. I didn't know it was his brother. Someone reached out to me on X and said, hey, you should try to watch this video. This guy kind of has, things you talk about are in his video. And I watched that video 2 days later. I replied to him and went, it's midnight right now, so I'm not going to watch it right now. I'll watch it later. And then I waited like 2 days because I'm lazy when it comes to that. Because people send me videos all the time. Watch this. And honestly, they're usually not that interesting. And this one was interesting. I'm so happy they reached out. Because I love that video. That video is basically everything I've been talking about, but with actual stats and facts deeper than I dive into. And it was just great. And I want to promote it here with you guys, and I want to tell you guys to go watch it. Anybody who doesn't know who Footy with an Edge is, go watch his video about the Athletic. It's great. It's got like 70,000 views right now. It's doing good. It's a great video. It's fantastic. And it's a video that's been brought down on Reddit time and time again, because Reddit is actually affiliated with the Athletic in some way, shape, or form, as in like they're either sponsored by the Athletic or the New York Times or whatever, which owns the Athletic. And they keep taking down that video every time someone posts it up, and it's really, you can tell there's an agenda there, because there's nothing wrong in Footy with an Edge's video. He's actually very respectful when he's taking down everything that the Athletic said about our stats and the way we play. He's actually doing it in a respectful play, a lot more respectful than me, a lot more respectful than I would be whenever I'm talking about a journalist who's doing a crap job. And again, like, look at what I just said there. He's a lot more respectful than how I am. I call people out if they don't do a good job. That's just the way I am. I do it at my job. I do it at myself. If I do a bad job, no one's going to be harder on me than me, believe me. Let's take a look at Big O's here. What's up, Big O? Do a video on why we don't run into space after a pass. Saw it a lot in the final third. Do a video on why we don't run into space after a pass. I saw it a lot in the final third. Yeah, 100% I agree with you. I don't know how long that video would be. You know what I mean? I would be like, hey, he should have ran there. He didn't see it. Football IQ lacking. But I will tell you this, Big O. There is something coming in my tactics video on this Friday when I drop the Liverpool video that I've been working on. I kind of don't want to give it away. I want it to be a part of that video, but I'm going to give it away. You guys, we only have 115 viewers. It's not much, or 65 now. We made diagonal runs better than we've ever had before. We are finally starting to make diagonal runs more often. We used to do it every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes, we would make a diagonal run. But I told you guys a long time ago, the ones that have been with me, Amarim's system requires diagonal runs, constant, one after the other, and I'm not talking about the same person. One guy makes a diagonal run, 2 seconds later, another guy makes a diagonal run. And we were doing that, and I can't wait to show you that in that video. I thought it was impressive. It made me happy. It made me happy to see. Okay, enough about that video, because I really want you guys to watch that without knowing everything that I'm going to show you already, right? Like, I'm putting in all this work. I don't want to ruin the ending and the video. So let's talk about something else. But I will talk about the game if you ask me specific questions. But I'm gonna stay. If I already answered that question in that video, I'm just gonna go wait till you see the video. Semeex, I apologize to you for being so negative since the Grimsby loss. Will try to be more measured in my reactions because this was a big result. Big up, Alpha. I love that, man, and no apology needed. Honestly, all I want to hear is that second part. That second part of that comment is all I like hearing. We'll try to be more measured. And the thing is, Alpha, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not most of the fans' fault because of what I was just talking about with Footy with an Edge's video. There's too much negativity out there with false data, guys. There's too much. Please go watch that video. I beg you guys to go watch Footy with an Edge's video. I'll try to link it to the description of this video later. I forgot to do it before because I'm not good at this. See, I told you guys, I'll be harder on myself than anyone will be harder on me. Believe me, I know I'm not that good at streaming and doing YouTube yet, but I will get there because I'm stubborn like that, and I've made it my mission right now to get good at this, so I will get there. But again, after I'm done with this, in the description, I will link Footy with an Edge's video to the description, but don't wait for me in case I forget because I literally have to run to work right after I'm done with this stream. Go to Footy with an Edge's channel, and thank you so much, Art, man. Thank you so much. Let's what? Line up Gibbs Brighton. What? Dude, were you typing on your iPhone? That happens to me on my iPhone too. I don't know why the YouTube app on an iPhone will start to predict words that don't exist. I don't know why it does. It drives me nuts every time I'm trying to, send something to James on his channel, Muppeteers or whatever. I'll start to type something and it like messes up my words, and I send it because I know I typed it right. And I'll send it, and then I'll look at it when it posts live, and I'm like, what did I just say? I don't even remember typing that. But anyway, go watch Footy with an Edge's YouTube video about the Athletic, and that's what I was trying to tell Alpha. It's not your fault. It's not other fans' fault because there's so much negative, wrong data out there, guys. Guys, wrong data, wrong intel has caused wars, economic collapses. It just causes chaos. Now imagine what it does to a sport fan who's emotionally hurt because his team is losing, and you've got so-called reputable, and they are. So I don't want to say so-called because they are reputable, but they're doing a bad job. Like, I don't get paid to dive into the data. Do you understand? I'm turning this camera on and talking to you guys I barely from YouTube make anywhere from $80 to $120 a month. That's it. That's nothing. That's not money. That's coffee and for a month. Do you get what I mean? These guys make their living doing that, and they don't dive into the data as deep as I do, or Footy with an Edge does. Let's just go there because he does it even deeper than me. Or they just don't care. All they're looking for is the clicks, and that's even worse. Ryan, thank you so much for the donation, man, or the super chat. I appreciate you so much, man. I love you guys for this. You guys make me feel like I'm doing a good job whenever I get. It's kind of like a round of applause. Every time I see a super chat, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Anyway, yeah, my iPhone is German, English, French, Italian. So what was I saying? Oh, Art asked, I think he's saying let's discuss the lineup against Brighton. So we will do that before we go. But I want to kind of stay here for a second and just say that it's the false narratives, the false information that's out there that you can't help it as a fan, okay? Like, you can't help unless you have the time to shut everything out and go, okay, is that really what's happening? And then dive into the data yourself and educate yourself. If you're going to, most of us don't have the time. And I don't want to say we're lazy, but if a calculator will do the math for me, I'm not going to sit there and start dividing 467 by 17. Do you understand? If I have a calculator real quick and I can be like 467 divided by 17, there's my answer. I'm not going to sit here and do that. So what we do is we listen to these pundits. We listen to these reputable outlets to give us this data, because we're not going to find out, like, wait, how many shots did we take from outside the box? I'm not going to watch the game and start counting. I'm going to a pundit's going to go, we took way too many shots from outside the box, so our XG is inflated from bad shots, so it's not real. And you start to listen to that. But the problem is when you get somebody who's a little bit, I don't want to say smart, okay, but someone who's willing to dive in deeper, like Footy with an Edge, like myself, when you hear a comment like that, you go, wait a minute, dude, XG is calculated based on how good the quality of the shot is. So you can't tell me that our XG is high because we take bad shots, because that just doesn't make any sense. If you take a bad shot, that barely affects your XG. Your XG doesn't just go up because you took a shot. If you take 15 shots from outside the box, your XG is still going to be lower than 1. But if you take 8 shots from inside the box and 4 shots from outside the box, your XG is going to be pretty high. Maybe 2, maybe 3, depending on how the quality of the shots that were from inside the box. Do you understand? So it didn't make sense to begin with, and that's what I was trying to say in my videos. And then Footy with an Edge went out there and literally did all the research and starts showing you where the shots were from and goes, this doesn't add up. The math just doesn't add up. And you can't argue math. You understand? Like, there is no, my math is different than your math. That doesn't work. Math is math. Make sense? So it's just a shame that it's like that out there, and I don't know what it is. And it's usually from people that come from that part of the world. It's not from other outlets. It's from the English outlets based in England. I don't know what it is, man. Did Manchester United ruin everyone's childhood that's based in England? Is that why we're hearing this? Or is it because negative stories about Manchester United sells and gets clicks? Because they don't do this to Liverpool. And honestly, I have to believe that most of the time, the stories that get clicks about Manchester United are from us Manchester United fans. So it is partly our fault. When we get emotional, we start to click on negative stories about ourselves. And that's not good. I'm talking to you. We have to turn your back to these stories and it'll stop happening. Do you understand? It only happens because we're clicking on it. Liverpool fans don't click on stories that are negative about them. Most of them don't. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. These publications survive on views, clicks, so that their sponsorship dollar, they don't make money in any other way but views, clicks, and sponsorship dollars. Look at how many people look at how many eyeballs we attracted this month. Because we attracted this many eyeballs this month, if you want to sell your soap or your Manscaped razor to my viewers, and I have this many viewers, you're going to give me this much money, right? If they start losing viewers because of certain stories that don't get clicks, they stop making those stories. They only make these stories negatively about us is because we are clicking on it. We're causing this BS. Other fan bases don't do that most of the time. They've probably learned real quick that if we put negative stories out there about Liverpool fans don't click on it. So let's talk about how Liverpool is doing bad right now, but they are somehow going to fix things. Florian Wirtz wasn't a bad signing. Benjamin Šeško was. That makes 0 sense. 0 sense. And even though you can tell me like, oh, yeah, but they surveyed agents. Which agents? Whose agents? Who are these agents? Did they pick and choose the agents so that the vote goes that way? Because I tell you what, like, I can pick a group of people and cast a vote and know which way the vote's going to go because of the group of people that I picked to cast that vote. Make sense? California. If I go downtown LA and I cast a vote about Republican or Democrat, believe me, the Democrats are going to win. If I go to Orange County, the Republicans are going to win. Just because I picked a group of people, I knew which way the vote's going to go just based on who I picked. It's that easy. So I can easily say 3 out of 5 dentists like this toothpaste. Yeah, why? Who are these dentists? Is that a you know what I mean? Like, it's easy. This is like BS stuff. And they control you with that. They make you think, oh, if that's what they say, these are experts, so it must be right. No, it's not. They say it for a reason. They have an agenda, and that is money. Their agenda is to make money. They found out we can make more money if we say negative things about Manchester United. That's how easy it is. This isn't a lie. Like, I'm telling you, I don't have an agenda. I just want fellow fans to just be a little open-minded. That's it. That's my agenda. There it is. There's my agenda. What a bad one. Horrible. I'm an evil person. I want you to be a little open-minded. My fault. My bad. I'm sorry. I admit it. Let's look at some chats, man. I haven't looked at the chat for a while. Yes, they did. The industry is filled with ex-league players who are bitter. Yeah. Because we're a bigger club, maybe. Of course we are a bigger club, but it's our clicks they want. They want the Manchester United fans' clicks. That's why every single publication has a Manchester United story every single day. Does any other team get coverage every single day? No. Our team gets coverage every single day. And they found out that the worse the coverage, the more evil, the more, whatever the coverage is, the more clicks we give them. Now, but they also ride our roller coaster. After the Liverpool game, they've been saying nothing but positive things because they're riding on our emotions. We're very positive right now. So everybody wants to hear a positive story. So they're like, here it is. And then you have pundits who are literally apologizing for saying negative things about Ruben Amorim. These same pundits, I'm going to be watching. And I'm going to be calling them out. If we lose one game and they switch back to he's got to go because we lost one game after they just apologized. Oh, I'm going to put it side by side. Here's what you said last week. Here's what you're saying this week. Who the hell are you? Who are you? Do you have a brain? Or do you just look at the views and go, okay, all the Manchester United fans are angry this week, so let's put out something negative. Oh, all the Manchester United fans are happy this week because we just beat Liverpool. Let's put out positive. That's what they're going to click on. That's what they want to hear. Do you know what would happen right now if somebody put out a negative story about Manchester United after the positive result we just had? Can you imagine? They'd get half the clicks that a positive story does. So they're not going to put out much negative. They might test the waters and be like, here's a little negative story. Let's see how it does. Oh, it didn't do good. Quick, tomorrow, put out a positive story. It's disgusting. And I'm sorry, but that's the way journalism works nowadays. It's not like the old days. Before your time, most of you guys. But some of you guys are my age or even older. And remember when journalism was actually about reporting true news. Now, there's so many outlets. When I was a kid, there was like 7 TV channels. That's it. Like 7 TV channels. There was no cable, no nothing when I was a kid. And they weren't fighting for eyeballs. There's 7 of them. That's it. Now, there's 150 news outlets. Everybody's fighting for your clicks and eyeballs. So they don't, the truth doesn't matter as much. How many people can I get to click on this? Semeex, what do you think about the United stand? Do you want to know the truth about what I think about the United stand? Like, obviously you want to know the truth, right? It's hard for me to say so many. And here's the thing. This might turn people against me, but I'll tell you exactly what I think about the United stand. I think some of it is BS and some of it is actually good. I don't think Mark is an idiot. Some people think Mark's an idiot. I don't think he's an idiot. I actually think he's clever. That's not a good or bad thing. That's just facts. He's a clever guy. He knows what he's doing most of the time. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I hate it. But that's pretty much true of me if you ask me about almost any channel. I'll tell you sometimes I like it and sometimes I hate it. But that doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's not good or bad. I don't. A lot of people think the United stand should not exist. They just want him gone. I don't believe that. That's not what I want. I don't want to shut anybody up. Yeah, I believe in freedom of speech, and I believe in like having all kinds of narratives out there, because who am I to decide what narrative is the right one? Do you understand? Like, I'm just telling you my opinions. Now, that might sound stupid coming from a guy who just told you what's going on out there and who to listen to and who not to listen to. But the truth is, I'm just telling you my opinions. That doesn't mean I want them shut down. I want you to make up your own mind. And because I would love if all the narratives started going towards like honesty to the nth degree. That would be my thing. But yeah, United stand to me, not bad. Dude, the United Stand created so many careers in the YouTube world of people who hate the guy and who left the guy. And I just don't understand that. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't understand that. But like a lot of people went to work for United Stand, then they leave United Stand, then they start saying negative things about Mark. And to me, it's like, dude, he helped you get started in the career you're in right now. No matter how much you hate him, you gotta give it up to the guy for even giving you a career. And that's how, you know, like there's good and bad. There's always good and bad. It's not all bad. Let's take a look. Joao Pin, what? Semeex, do you watch Sam? Oh, United People's TV. Think he has a great community. Sam, I watched United People's TV from the beginning, from the early days. And I got to tell you, like, Sam's come a long way, in my opinion. Sam's come a long way. He was very raw before, very not great at presentations, presenting, just being like a YouTube personality, probably like I am now, right? Like, because I'm new, I'm raw. But I think he's gotten better at streaming, using editing to make it look a little bit more professional, more high quality production and stuff like that. And yeah, I really do like what Sam's doing, but like, how do I put this? You know, the hardest thing about going live all the time must be to figure out what to talk about in content. And you figure out like who has a lot to say and intelligent things to say by seeing like what are they talking about. I like United People's TV. I'd love to work with Sam. But just like every other channel, I see that just like every other channel, remember that. I'm not picking on Sam here. Just like every other channel, I can see when they struggle to figure out what's the next video going to be about. I got to make 3 videos today. What's the next one going to be about? And you just go like, I'm not going to watch that video. Like, I'm not interested. Not because of Sam. I like Sam a lot. But it's hard. It's hard, man. Like, think about like trying to figure out another subject to talk about 3 hours after you just made a stream. Like, you went live. 3 hours later, you're going to go live again. And you're just like, dude, didn't you say what you needed to say 3 hours ago? Like, what happened? What do you think of the left wing back versus CM, a highest priority next transfer discussion? Ultimately, we need both. But if we could get one for January, which would you prefer? Personally, this is a great discussion. So James's video from yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, guys. If I'm wrong, it was the day before, but I believe it was yesterday. James's video from yesterday said that we have a priority list of targets. And we're going to go for whoever's available in January that's on that list, even if they're not a priority for this January. So, for example, let's say I'm Jason Wilcox, and I feel like center midfielder is the one wish that I would get this January. I don't understand why it wouldn't be, by the way. That's who, if I was Wilcox, I would say that center midfielder is the one thing we need to get this January. But let's say the center midfielder we want, Baleba or Wharton or Anderson from Nottingham Forest, are not available. But this was James, by the way. This isn't me. And James said, like, but Semenyo is. And Semenyo is a long-term target. He's not somebody we need this January, but he's somebody we wanted to pick up in the summer. But Semenyo is available in January, but the center mid that we desperately need is not available this January. We were just going to pivot and just get our long-term target done and wait till the summer to get our actual need done. Now, do I like that plan? Not necessarily, but I understand it. I understand not pivoting to a center midfielder you don't want. I understand not going, oh, well, the 3 guys we want are not available until summer. Do we go get a 4th guy on the list? Do we get option D because we're desperate to get one this January? Or do we just say that, hey, this team is probably not going to finish much better than 9th this year. Let's just build the team right next summer. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, so all things being equal, Philip, and to answer your question, if I could have whatever I want, there's no, oh, he's not available or whatever. Anything I want, I would want a wing back and a center midfielder. That's what I would want right now. So in January, if we can get a wing back and if you ask me, like, I can only have one. Oh, man. All right, so let's talk. Here it comes. The one player, guys, actually, I want to do this as a vote first before I tell you my answer. Here's my vote. What is killing us the most? Okay? First one is Dallo. Center midfield options is going to be the second one. 3-4-3 system is going to be the third pick. Please don't pick that. And here's your poll. I didn't put a question mark after I said what is killing us the most. But please hurry up and answer the poll. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to a minute because I want to see where you guys stand. And then we'll talk about what I actually think is killing us the most right now. While you do that, I'm going to get a drink because my throat's starting to hurt again. Thank you so much for being patient with me and my throat, guys, today. I needed that. I needed you. Holy crap. Has everybody voted already? Because, like, the vote's, like, crazy on, heavy on one. The thing is, I agree with you guys. If that's the vote, if that's the way the vote's going to go, I agree with you guys. That's what's killing me the most. Yeah. Yeah. See how easy that was? Now, this is nothing against the guys who voted for center midfield options. I understand. I'm going to end the poll right there, guys. That's enough. I understand. So, you got 70% Dallo, 30% center midfield options. I'm just rounding here, guys. This is nothing against the guys who voted center midfield options because I agree with you that center midfield options are bad. But Dallo's killing me. Dallo is oh my God, man. He can't settle a ball this season. He wasn't that great last season when it came to options. He wasn't making the right options whenever he had options. If he had options A, B, and C, he would choose the wrong option. This year, he doesn't even get to choose options, guys, because he can't settle the ball. So by the time he settles the ball, he's only got one option, go backwards, because he just wasted time not settling a ball and having a run to go get it. Guys, it happened so many times in the Brentford game, and it happened so many times in the Liverpool game. And I pointed it out in my tactical video against Brentford, and I'm going to point it out again when the video comes out against Liverpool. There you go. I'm ruining that video more. But that's the problem. That's killing us. Casemiro's actually doing a pretty good job. He's not great, and we need more legs, but he's doing a pretty good job. But here's the other thing. Our center backs, I'm just ruining my video now. Our center backs in De Ligt and Shaw were fantastic against Liverpool. They weren't good. They were fantastic against Liverpool. So as long as our center backs are stepping up at the right time, our central midfield area is looking better and better. But the low. And by the way, just so you know, because some of you guys probably are going to say, well, we do have Dorgu. Dorgu is not great. I hate to say it, man. He's not. I hope he becomes great. So let's get that straight. See, this is the same way I feel about Manu. I think you guys think I hate Manu or whatever, or like I have an agenda against Manu. I don't. I love Manu. I think Manu is a bright spark that hopefully will reach his potential. Do you understand? But he has to reach his potential first. And one thing I'll say positive about Manu in the Liverpool game, the minutes that he got, he freaking ran. He was everywhere. He surprised me. He shocked me. I've never seen him run like that consistently. I've seen him run like that in spurts. I've seen him run like that for 30 seconds and then go back to jogging. He ran the whole... Look, I had a video call with Diogo, who is a longtime viewer of this channel, a friend of mine from Lisbon, who is a big-time Sporting fan and has watched Ruben. He's been watching Sporting his whole entire life, and he saw everything Ruben Amorim went through at Sporting and how he evolved the team and how he won the championship. And one of the things that Diogo told me over and over again is that if you're going to be successful in a Ruben Amorim team, you have to run like a wild dog. It reminds me a lot of how not exactly okay, so be careful of how you interpret what I'm about to say. But it reminds me a lot of how Jurgen Klopp wants his team's work ethic to be on a high standard. Ruben wants the same thing. Guys, from his first training session, he had a whistle in his mouth. And from his first training session last year. And he would just say, we lost the ball. Even when they didn't lose the ball, he would say we lost the ball, and the guy with the ball would have to leave the ball, and everybody would have to sprint back as hard as they can as soon as they heard his whistle. Because he wanted the team to get programmed in the brain, no thinking. Soon as the ball is lost, you sprint back. Doesn't matter if you're close to the ball. Doesn't matter if you have a chance to affect the play. You have to run back no matter what. Whether you're, like I said, whether you have a chance to affect the play or not doesn't matter. That's the thing you do when you don't have the ball. You sprint as hard as you can, even if you're on the other side of the field and you don't think you're going to be able to help in defense. You still sprint. And you were starting to see that. You're starting to see that the last 2 games. You're starting to see more of that. You were seeing it before. You would see it with Lenny Yoro. You would see it with De Ligt. You would see it with, these kind of, you would see it with these kind of players. Now you're starting to see it from everybody. And when you see it from everybody, it makes us really hard to play against. And I'm going to show you some plays on Friday where that was working really, really well. I can't wait for you guys to see that video. And I'm sorry I had a sore throat for the last 3 days and I couldn't finish the video. And I'm sorry to the members, the real ones. Guys, I always put your video out first. And because of my sore throat, I tried to record something and it wasn't working. I recorded for like 10 minutes. And then I'm like, I can't do this. And I turned it off because it was hurting me. And but I will make it up to you. You'll get 2 member videos next week. I promise. Definitely. 100%. You know me. But that video is coming out on Friday, the tactics video. That's coming out first because I need to get that out before the Brighton game. And then I'll be live for the Brighton game, even though I think it's like... Actually, no, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, so it'll be fine. It's not 4:30. At least I don't think it is. Anyways... What was I saying? Yeah, Mainu was actually working really hard, so I got to praise Mainu. But to go back to the whole poll, I'm going on a rant again. This is why when I make my videos, you guys see cuts sometimes. Like in my videos, you'll be like, wait, did his face just kind of cut? Yeah, because I'll go on a rant, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm like way off topic, and I'll cut out the rant. But sometimes the rant's the best part. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't fit the video, so I cut it out. Anyways. The whole point of that discussion was the vote, and 70% of you guys think Diogo Dalot is the biggest problem. I agree. And the problem is that Dorgu is making some mistakes. Dorgu has potential, really, really high potential, but I need another wing back as soon as possible. Now, James from the Muppeteers believes that Montato might be an option. Maybe he is. I don't know. I'm not going to make a judgment call on somebody I haven't seen play enough times. Hopefully that is true, and hopefully Montato is great, and we don't need to go buy one. But, guys, I really wanted Nuno Mendes from PSG. I'm so angry that we didn't, like, push hard to go get him. Or I would have taken the AC Milan player that went to Saudi, the French guy who went to Saudi, Hernandez. Theo Hernandez? I think his first name is Theo, but Hernandez is the other one I would have taken. Dorgu's fine, but yeah, support. Dorgu 1v1 is poor. Man, Dorgu is okay. I like his crossing way more than I like Dalot's cross. Look, there's positives and negatives for both Dorgu and Dalot, and he has to choose one over the other. Dalot can also throw in the long ball, but like, look, man, settling a ball isn't that hard. So if somebody just pulls Dalot aside and goes, bro, is it your nerves? What is it that's making you not even able to settle a ball? Is it because you're not working? Look, there was a time when Cristiano was a part of the group, when CR7 was with us, when Dalot was playing really well. But that's because he was staying after training and playing with CR7 and working on his game. You know, he was like CR7's little puppy. He was his teacher's pet type of deal, right? He was always following CR7 around. And he was doing really, really good in games. He was fine. He was fine. CR7 left. He got a little bit worse the following season. And it's just been getting worse and worse season after season. And I just don't know if he's staying after training and working on his game like he used to work on his game. You know? We just need squad depth. Everyone has good and bad form. Yeah, exactly. That's good. That's a good point, too. People want Dorgu to have 1v1s like Messi or Neymar. I like Cunha, but last game I fell in love with him. What a fighter. Dude, Cunha was my favorite player in the last game, and he didn't even like have an assist or a goal. Cunha in the last minutes of that game, and when I say last minutes, I'm talking the whole last like 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes of that game, Cunha was the only reliable ball carrier we had that was wasting time. Everybody else was booting the ball right back to them. And we were like, here, go, have another go at us. Have another go at us. Have another go at us. And I'm sitting there going like, please stop. Please stop. Because, you know, we were only up 2-1, and we weren't ever getting the ball on their half anymore for the last like 15 or 20 minutes. Cunha was the only one that when he touched the ball, he was like, no, I'm not kicking it. You're going to foul me because I'm going to protect this ball with everything I got. He was using his body perfectly. He was boxing out like he was Dennis Rodman. Some of you guys might not know who that is. But he was boxing people out 2 against 1, and he was positioning his body perfectly where you had no chance to touch the ball unless you fouled him. It was amazing. It was awesome. I loved every minute of it. We needed Cunha. Cunha gave our defense a breather. And then he would pick up a foul, and we would slowly restart the game so that everybody could get a breather because we got to go. And they're going to come at us again, and we got to be ready. It was awesome. Without Cunha, I think they get that equalizing goal, honestly, because we needed those breathers, and he kept giving it to us. Dorgu is Danish. He doesn't have the natural technical attributes like Portuguese. Dude, I'm not gonna say because you know who else is Danish? Eriksson, and he had. I'm right? Eriksson is Danish. Eriksson had technical abilities. Like, you can't just say because someone's from a country doesn't have technical ability. I know American players who have some technical abilities. Like, it's not every Spanish player can play like Iniesta. The Worm, yeah, the Worm was amazing, man. AFCON is going to rip out our right-hand side. Isn't that scary? And it's unfortunate. It really is. That comment scares me more than anything else. When the AFCON gets here, it's going to rip out our right-hand side. We're going to be left without Mbeumo and without Ahmad. Can you please think about that for a second and what that's going to mean? I think when that happens, some people think that maybe Bruno's going to move forward and Mainoo's going to get to play some more. Possibly. Some people think that maybe it's going to be Mount, Cunha, and Šeško up front. But the problem is, who's going to play as our right wing back? Is it going to be Delo and Dorgu on the other side? That scares me. I don't want to lose Mbeumo. But what scares me more is losing Ahmad. Because he's the only real wing back we have right now. I can see us losing Mbeumo, and I can see us making do with Cunha, with Mount, with moving Bruno Fernandes up front and putting Mainoo in the middle. I can see us coping with the loss of Mbeumo. I don't know how we're going to cope with the loss of Ahmad. I'm not impressed with any of our other wingbacks. So how do we cope with that when the AFCON comes? And guys, you gotta be. I guess I'm gonna take it back to how we started this stream. You gotta be careful. We're gonna lose some guys. We're not gonna finish in the top 4. I'm sorry, man. I hope we do. But we're the 7th most valuable team in the Premier League. That's based on studies, not based on me. That's based on an article. If you haven't seen my video from like 2 or 3 videos ago, I posted I told you guys where to go find that information and everything else. And by the way, that was valuing some of our players too high because it's valuing Maguire, Casemiro, these aging players who honestly don't have the same value that they're valued at in that study too high. So we're probably worse than the 7th most valuable, but let's say we're 7th. And we're going to lose 2 of our biggest threats for the AFCON. We're going to lose our right-hand side. And our right-hand side is our biggest threat. We're going to lose some games. Like, it's just natural. We're going to lose some games. Or we're going to draw some games that we should win. Let's put it that way. And the narratives are going to come out. The knives are going to come out. And it's going to be like, oh, Ruben Amorim this, Ruben Amorim that. The system doesn't work. And by the way, man, the midfield wasn't overrun one time. Not one time against Liverpool. And I'm going to show you guys that in my video on Friday. Not one freaking time against a team full of amazing midfielders like Liverpool. Against a team full of maybe the best midfielders in the entire league and possibly the entire world. And our midfield, with our aging midfielders, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, did not get overrun because everybody got their assignments right. The center backs stepped up when they're supposed to step up. Mount stepped down when he was supposed to step down, and so did Mbeumo. That's what it looks like when the system is run perfectly. So please do not be a system blamer. That says not a system blamer. Don't blame the system when players miss assignments. It makes no sense. Don't blame the coach or the manager when the player doesn't execute the game plan. It doesn't make sense. And the game plan is not even that difficult. It just takes a little bit of IQ knowing when to go and when not to go. Maybe this AFCON will give the young guys a chance to shine. You might be surprised what we have on the bench. That's true. Maybe that is when Montato steps up. Maybe we see Montato during the, yeah, right? Like maybe we see, that's his name, right? Am I saying it right? Maybe that's when we see Montato. Maybe Fredrickson gets a couple of minutes during the AFCON because I think that guy deserves it too. Milan, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us. Are there other wingbacks we could get besides Semenyo? What a question. Good question. I don't know. I want to know myself. I want to know who else we're looking at. It looks like they're only looking at Semenyo. But I'll tell you what, man. Like, I don't mind this plan at all. Like, going after Premier League proven players who are like Semenyo's a physical beast. You know what I mean? Like, Semenyo is like a better Traore. Not as physical as Traore, Adama Traore. Not as physical as Adama Traore, but he's a technically better Traore, and he makes better decisions than Traore. Football IQ, Semenyo football IQ is higher than Adama Traore's football IQ. So I like this kind of recruitment strategy that we're on. The Mbeumo, the Cunha, and now the Semenyo. These Premier League proven, good players. Semenyo would be a hell of a signing, especially if he's willing to play wingback. Marcus Stevenson's here. What's up, Marcus? How are you, man? Marcus, I got to see Marcus for the first time on Footy with the Edge's channel. Marcus has been a part of Footy with the Edge for a while and didn't even tell me about him. He didn't even tell me that there's a guy out there who's actually pretty intelligent, doesn't have an agenda, and speaks facts. Shame on you, Marcus, but nice to have you. Montato and Shea. Yeah, that's right, Shea. Shea needs to get some playing time, too. I'm curious to see what he's got. P-Strum, what's up, man? Also, Delo has a problem coming back to defend. He runs to the center like a fullback. I'm not going to read the rest of that. I don't know what's going on with Delo. Positioning, poor. Touches, poor. Emotions, 100%. The guy is like, when it comes to emotions and like, celebrating and hugging people, he's number one. He's like the best we got on the team. But when it comes to actual play, I wish it would be half as good as the way he exudes emotion when good things happen. Enough talking trash about him, though. He might be suffering with something that we don't know about in his personal life. I don't know, okay? I just need him to, I know he's better than this. I'll tell you that. I know he's better than this because, like I said, he was better when CR7 was here and he was working on his game. He was better when he was holding himself to a higher standard. Dorgu gives too much space and gets beat. Yeah, he does. That's true. Guys, there's a moment in the game where I think it was Mo Salah faces up against Dorgu and just beats Dorgu and crosses it in, and then Gakpo has what I consider an easy open header, and Gakpo heads it out. And that could have changed the whole game. We could not be celebrating. We would have been not feeling great about ourselves this week because of that play. He got beat way too easy, and Cunha lays into him right after. I'm going to show that in my video too. I'll show you guys how Cunha lays into him, and I love that. I love when players lay into each other. I love it. That's what my team used to do. Manchester United. used to get on each other's case for bad touches, bad defensive assignments, if you did not hold yourself to a high standard, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Rio Ferdinand, they let you know about it. They let you know that this is unacceptable. Get your head out of your rear end and start playing right. And I loved what Cunha did to Dorgu by yelling at him and going like, hey, no, like this isn't how we play. We need more of that. And that's another reason why I want Semenyo, guys. I've seen Semenyo's attitude. Semenyo's attitude is a winner's attitude. We need more of those. Semenyo is not a loser. Semenyo is someone who's like determined to win. You put a team of talented guys who love to win together, you can't fail. If they're talented and they love to win and they're ready to sweat and run like wild dogs to win, you can't fail. You can't fail. You might not win the championship, but you can't fail. You'll be challenging every time. That's actually what I thought the problem was with Arsenal for the longest time. I thought talented, but not everyone on that team is one of those that sacrifices everything to win. And I wanted to stay that way. I was like, I hope they stay that way. I hope they keep recruiting nice guys. They keep recruiting nice guys who don't yell at each other. Because you don't have that killer instinct to win. You need a team half filled with nice guys and half filled with killers. Killers who, after the whistle blows and the game is over, they go back to being nice guys. But during the game, they're not nice guys. We lose Mazraoui too. Yeah, Mazraoui won't be here to cover for Ahmad. So anybody who was thinking Mazraoui is going to cover for Ahmad, no. It'll be Dorgu and Delo as it stands. As it stands, it'll be Dorgu and Delo playing. Or Montato. Which we don't know, though, Montato, right? We're just guessing. Like, the Montato, I could tell you for sure Dorgu and Delo are going to play. I don't know if Montato is going to get many minutes, any minutes, a lot of minutes. He's definitely not going to get a lot of minutes. It makes no sense. Unless the first time he gets minutes, he's like a superstar and blows everyone out, out of the water. Then he'll get a lot of minutes. But I doubt that's going to happen, right? Or else we probably would have seen him by now a lot more often. Won't Cunha do a better job than Mount? Dude, that's so hard because, I just went on a couple of minutes ago about how amazing Cunha was and how much he was needed. But it's so hard because Mount is positionally better out of possession. Out of possession, Mount was there to cover Delo's mistakes or Mount, I can't answer that. It's such a hard. If out of possession Cunha was more like Mount, I would be like, Cunha's amazing. Cunha needs to be man of the match every single game. Like, Cunha is out of possession, in possession, perfect, right? But he's not. He's in possession at a higher standard than Mount. But it's the opposite out of possession. Mount's at a higher standard than Cunha. So it's hard. It's fun. It's more fun to watch Cunha in possession than it is to watch Mount out of possession. So I understand why people say those kind of things. But football is not played in possession 100% of the time. You're going to 50% of the time, around 50% of the time, sometimes more, like against the Liverpool game, you're going to be out of possession more than you are in possession. Now, out of possession in the box defending, I'd rather have Cunha than Mount. But out of possession outside of the box defending, Mount's much better. Semenyo is extremely driven. He would team up well with Mbeumo and Cunha. Dude, Semenyo would be amazing. Semenyo might solve, if he's willing to play left wing back, which is kind of weird because he wants to play on the right side, I believe. I'm curious to see how we would use Semenyo because right now the way Ahmad's playing, I wouldn't bench Ahmad for Semenyo. Or maybe, I don't know, but it would be almost like a luxury of riches. Like I would want Ahmad and Semenyo to be on the field at the same time. So great having 4 quality players for the front 3 spots. Finally a good problem for Amarim to have, 100%. And guys, like, I don't know if you guys remember my live stream, and I hate to toot my own horn, but like in my live stream, before the watch along, I pulled up the starting lineup and I said, hey, I got questions about the starting lineup, but I'll tell you this. I think the manager has a vision for how the game's going to go, and that's why he chose the players that he chose. And guess what, man? The manager's vision was right. He forced Liverpool out wide, and he forced them to live on crosses. That's why Euro wasn't playing and Maguire was playing. Because the manager said to his squad, we're going to force Liverpool out wide, and they're going to live on crosses. And he looked at Maguire, De Ligt, and said, you two are going to have to head all those crosses out. And whenever Lamens has a chance, he has to come out and grab the ball. It was a really good plan. He did a great job. And a lot of people are maybe giving him credit for it. I just don't think it's enough credit for all the times they said the negative things about him. Bro, they talked negatively about him for so long, and then they give him 2 minutes of credit after that win. But they give him 3 hours of negative talk before that win. It just, I don't know. It angers me. It really does anger me. Because I know what it's like to be blamed for something that is out of your control, and it's all about player execution. Semeex will be good for the left wing back. I hope so. I don't know if he'll play on the left. He usually plays on the right side, am I right? Like, I think he usually plays on the right side. Whether as a wing back or a winger or even an inside 10. I've seen him do all three. But I think all three I've seen him do on the right side. I don't remember him playing on the left side. But one of you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. That's another thing. Fernandes feeds too much to the right side. Mount was calling him on that even on the Liverpool game at some point. Bruno does sometimes stroll into the wrong areas. I think he's got too much of a free roll. And sometimes that causes him to make a bad mistake in where he should be during some plays. But I will tell you this, Bruno was actually pretty good in that game. Even though, yeah, sure, he was out of position once or twice, but he was actually really good in that game. I wish he put the game away. There was a point where he had that shot inside the box after Ahmad's cutback pass where he could have put the game to sleep. He could have just put that game to sleep. And we could have really, really caused Liverpool issues. And he hit the outside of the post. That was the one thing that I was like, come on, Bruno. Semeex 2-footed and both legs actually work. I like that comment. I don't know why that made me laugh. Both legs, because you can't say someone's 2-footed, but both legs don't work. He's equally bad with both feet. Semeex is a left winger. Is he? I could have sworn when he played against us, he played on the right side. Like, I don't watch a lot of their games, Bournemouth, but I did watch the preseason game, and I was watching for Semeex in particular because I knew he was interested. And I could have sworn he spent the whole day on our right side. I could be wrong, Ayush. Ayush is someone who's very. I mean, Ayush doesn't just say things to say things. So I would listen to that. I gotta watch him some more. I played with Seedorf at my base of Diamond in an ultra attacking pro. Guys, what else was I going to talk about today? The Brighton game. That's right. So that's what we're going to talk about. The Brighton game, the lineup. What should we do? How should we attack Brighton? Hard decisions here. So it doesn't matter what I say because I haven't watched Brighton enough this year. I know that they've been good, and I've only seen them play one game. So I can't really tell you 100% what I think Brighton is doing well this season. What I can tell you is they are a good team. They don't sit back normally. And they're filled with very good recruitment with guys with legs. They like to run. We have to match that intensity. Now, here's the $1 million question for the Brighton game. It's not about any other position as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, it's not about, is it Lenny Yoro or is it Harry Maguire? It doesn't bother me right now because the way Harry Maguire is playing, I don't have a problem. And the way Lenny Yoro is playing, I don't have a problem. I like both of them. Is it Aiden Heaven or is it Luke Shaw? I don't think you can bench Luke Shaw. And I don't think you can bench Matthias de Ligt. Both of them have been amazing for 2 weeks straight. Is it Casemiro or Ugarte? I think it's Casemiro. I think it's Casemiro, and I think then you put in Ugarte Here's the one thing you're going to understand about Ruben Amorim as time goes on, because it's finally starting to happen. When things start to click, Ruben Amorim will give minutes to a lot of players. Mainoo will not have a problem anymore once things start to click, because once things start to click, everybody's running their asses off. We are leading games, and Bruno cannot finish the game because he's been running his tail end off. I'm going to show you things in the Liverpool game that show you exactly what I'm talking about. Because just like I said a minute ago, when he first got in, he blows the whistle and everybody sprints back. How long do you think everybody can do that for? At some point, these guys are going to get burnt out, especially the aging ones, especially the Maguire, the Bruno, the Casemiro. So Ugarte, Mainoo, Yoro, they're going to get playing times, even if they don't start the games. The question is, do you start Mbeumo, Cunha, Mount, or do you start Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško, or do you start Mbeumo, Mount, Šeško? That's the only real question. Nothing else is really questionable. No matter what he chooses, I'm going to be like, yep, fine. It's fine with me. So when someone asks me what's the lineup for the Brighton game, that's the only thing that pops into my mind. Actually, out of curiosity, and because we've done this already today, let's do it. A poll. Who starts for Brighton game? Now, don't worry. Like, I know that's a horrible way to word things, but whatever. So we're going to go Mbeumo, Cunha, Mount. Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško. Or Mbeumo, Mount, Šeško. Go for it. Who starts in our forward line? That's the only question. And then once you guys decide, we'll talk about the pluses and minuses of each one of those. And then we'll call it a day, because I've already been live for a while. And I got to go to work. Wow, 100% of the vote so far has been for one. There we go. It's starting to get a mix-up now. That's interesting. What I'm seeing here is interesting so far, and we're going to talk about this. Yeah, we're going to talk about this in a different light. I'm going to tell you guys the pluses and minuses of each one of those, because each one of those offers different options. And I love that the manager has the options and he just chooses based on the game. I think it's time to end the vote. Or should I wait for some people who are getting my stream a little later? But I'll talk about the options right now while the vote's going on. It doesn't matter. I don't have to wait to end the vote. Mbeumo, Cunha, Mount. What's the difference between starting? Let's just talk about those first two options. Cunha, Mount, Cunha, Šeško. I'm not even going to bring up Mbeumo because he's in every single one, right? And we all know why he's in every single one. He's the best right-sided winger we have, or attacking 10 we have. And he's got a left foot, and none of the other guys have a left foot. So Mbeumo, done. We're not going to talk about it. Cunha, Mount. What is the difference between Cunha, Mount, and Cunha, Šeško? Cunha gives you on-the-ball dribbling and penetration, like carrying. None of the other guys give you carrying. Hopefully, one day, Šeško will give us some carrying too, because I know he's got it in him. He's got it in him to use his body to protect the ball and then turn and carry. I hope that's coming from Šeško at some point. But he's more of a hold up the ball and get people involved. He doesn't do enough turning and running for me. But he will, I think, as he matures. But right now, Cunha is our best carrier. Mount gives you out-of-possession pressing that makes up for Cunha's less out-of-possession pressing. Šeško also gives you out-of-possession pressing, but he does it only at the center back level, meaning he's only pressing the center backs and the goalkeeper. whereas Mount's pressing a center back and one of the fullbacks. So Mount and probably even a midfielder at some point when he drops down to help. So Mount gives you pressing options with a little bit bigger area on the pitch than Šeško does. Šeško gives you centrally the two center backs and the goalkeeper up really high, whereas Mount goes from really high, center back, full back, all the way down to midfield where he could be pressing. That's what Mount gives you. And then what you get with Mount and Šeško is, without Cunha, you don't really get any carrying done. You just get solid pressing, solid hold-up play. And your carrying all comes from Mbeumo and Ahmad. So when you think about that, as a manager, and again, this is why I don't like to say my opinion until I watch the other team play a lot. Because what I want to find out by watching the other team play is, what is their weakness? What do they allow? And what is their strength? If their strength is in their fullback on our left side, I'm going to want to play Mount instead of Cunha. Do you understand? If their strength is, like if they had a, what's that kid's name that went to Real Madrid from Liverpool? Trent Alexander-Arnold. If they had a Trent Alexander-Arnold type, Mount's playing, not Cunha. Do you understand? Or if Cunha's playing, Šeško's not playing, because Mount's definitely playing. Make sense? Now, if their weakness is that they're going to have a gap between their midfield line and their defensive line at some point in transition, then Cunha's playing, because I'm going to have him carry the ball past those lines and get into that open space where he can decide what he wants to do with the ball. If they're very compact in those lines, then I'm going to play Šeško, because I'm going to need him to hold up the play. There's not going to be space for people to try to carry too much. And I'm not educated enough on how Brighton plays this season for me to tell you guys which one is the right one to go with. I'm just telling you guys how they unfold. I have a feeling the vote went the way it did because excitement, as opposed to actual strategy, if you know what I mean. I have a feeling that the vote went Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško, which I thought it would go that way. I just didn't think it would be this big, because it shouldn't be this big. It shouldn't be 75% of you guys voted for Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško. The fact that 75% of you voted for it almost makes me feel like you guys are more about the excitement in possession play. It's a lot more exciting to watch Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško, but there's no regard for out of possession play with that vote. Now, I might be wrong. Their right fullback, our left side, their right fullback might not be that good, and you guys are like, Delo can handle that by himself. You don't need Cunha to press. And if that's true, then yeah, you're right. Then we should go with Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško. Make sense? Do we need someone who's going to press that our left side? Do we need someone who's going to press solidly and run around like a crazy person? Or do we need more of someone who's going to hold up the ball often like Šeško instead of Mount pressing? That's what I would go with. And again, I don't want to tell you guys what I think when I'm not that educated on Brighton. I try not to open my mouth and say I think something until I've done my homework, and it's the nature of my job too. I can't just do sporadic things like that on my job. I have to sit there, spend time, study, analyze, look at the data, and then make a decision. I'm not just going to go, yeah, for the vibes. You know what I mean? That's just not the way I do things, and it's not the way anyone at my kind of position should be doing. I think there's too much of that on social media, to be honest with you. Better support in midfield with Mount. Yeah, but do we need that support in midfield? Can Casemiro handle the job? Because it's not that hard, let's say, against against Brighton. Can Casemiro, with the likes of De Ligt and Luke Shaw stepping forward, handle that job? Do you get what I mean? If they can handle that job, because they're not that crazy in midfield, let's say they have two good players in midfield. So with Casemiro, De Ligt, and Shaw stepping forward, they can handle the midfield job, then we don't need Mount. Especially if they're like I said, if their right-sided fullback isn't that great. I hope that makes sense. Can't believe I missed this live. P.S. Man, we had some really good discussions, and sorry, it's my fault that you missed the live. I had a sore throat for the last 3 days. I couldn't make a video. I still have a sore throat now, but it's a lot better. And so I decided to go live. The days I can go live, and I hate to tell you guys like this because it's like, oh, you don't know if you're going to be live, are Wednesdays and Fridays. Wednesdays I work late. Actually, have to be at work in about 45 minutes, so I got to go. But Wednesdays I work late, and Fridays are usually the days we give people the day off of training because, you know, we play Saturdays and Sundays. So, anyways, we do light work on Fridays. That's it for today, guys. Sorry. I know my brain's dying because I'm looking at the clock going, okay, I got to get how many things done before I go to work, you know, here at home. And I got to be at work in 45 minutes. I don't work that far away, though. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being with me. I promise I don't have time to work on the tactics video today. I'm going to be working late today. I go in late. I get out late. And then I'm at work very early in the morning tomorrow. But I will be home early in the afternoon tomorrow. I'll work on the tactics video, get it done, and get it posted so that you guys can watch it on Friday morning before the game against Brighton so you can see what we did so well against Liverpool. And I promise you there will be things that I talk about in that video that you have not heard me talk about before. There are things I'm going to show you that we did so well in that video that we have not done that well before. And there are things that we need to now keep doing from now on. And you'll be able to identify whether or not we're doing it in future games. So you'll know exactly why, if we happen to lose a game, why we lost the game. That's important to me. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being understanding about why it's taking so long to make videos with this throat the way it is. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you, guys. Peace.